that a new Jew hatred is growing in the West, in Australia, in the left. But even I've been stunned by how bad it's got, and so fast. And it's not just among Muslims, like this preacher, of course, last October, after hearing Hamas terrorists had just killed 1,200 Jews, which is what actually started this war.
I'm smiling and I'm happy. I'm elated. It's a day of courage.
No, hating Israel has become very popular also with the left broadly, with the young, with school children. And hating Israel with such venom and such ignorance that often I can't tell the difference between their hatred of Israel and a hatred of Jews. And all this is and more is covered in a brilliant new book by a friend and a long-time guest in the show, Brendan O'Neill from Spiked Online, who's now published after the pogrom, which isn't so much about the massacre last October, but the West's reaction to it. Brendan O'Neill joins me now. Brendan, great to catch up with you again. What a great read. But I have to say, there's a note of despair in there, this from you, and like almost a real anger. You talk about the rise of a new barbarism. What's causing it, do you think?
Yeah, I really think there is a new barbarism, a culture of barbarism. And the point I make in the book is that on 7th of October 2023, there were two explosions of barbarism. There was Hamas's attack on Israel, which was the worst act of anti-Jewish slaughter since the Holocaust. And then there was the celebration of Hamas's attack in many areas of the West. You know, we had leftists in Britain referring to it as a day of celebration. We had people dancing in the streets of London and, of course, in Sydney and in Paris and in Berlin. We had newspaper columnists making excuses for Hamas and what they had just done in southern Israel. So the point I make in my book is that this event, the pogrom of 7th of October, confirms something we already knew, which is that Hamas is a Jew-hating machine that poses as a national liberation movement. But it also exposed the rot in our own societies, the moral rot, the moral confusion, and the moral disarray. And I think our chickens are coming home to roost. I think if you encourage the young in particular to turn their backs on the gains of Western civilization, to be anti-Western, to be fashionably against their own societies, then you can't really be surprised when they are tempted by the lure of barbarism, when they look at Hamas and see something almost worth celebrating. So 7th of October has exposed just how profound the crisis of civilization is in our own societies.
Oh, I agree. Absolutely. There's a wider context, the demonization of the West, not the values, all that kind of stuff. It's hard for academics now to say, oh, we were just kidding about that, about, you know, being a racist, colonial, terrible, oppressive regime. Please don't sell us out. Too late. Now, we're told by protesters that, oh, no, Brendan, we're not anti-Jewish, we're just anti-Israel, or that we're anti-Zionist. Do you see a difference?
Increasingly, no, I really don't. And in fact, one of the chapters in my book makes the case that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. Anti-Zionism is the mask that anti-Semitism wears in the 21st century. Because if you look at the criticisms that are made of Israel, they are very similar to the kinds of comments that were once made about the Jewish people. You know, we are told that Israel is a uniquely bloodlusting nation, uniquely murderous. That echoes the old blood libels that were once issued against the Jewish people. We're told that Israel loves killing children, just as we were told that Jews used to kill Christian children. We are told that Israel puppeteers world affairs. It has America and Britain eaten out of the palm of its hand, which echoes the old Nazi idea that the Jews were secretly controlling the world. You know, when people say that the Zionists run the media and the Zionists run world politics and the Zionists are behind everything, just because they're using the Z word shouldn't let them get away with the fact that they are repeating old conspiracy theories and old racist tropes that were traditionally said about the Jews. So I increasingly see the animus towards Israel, which some people will refer to as Israelophobia, as a new form of anti-Semitism. It's the form anti-Semitism now takes. And for left-wingers and supposed anti-racists to be on the street shoulder to shoulder with radical Islamists who are calling for the destruction of the Jewish state, it is so shameful. It has heaped shame on our society since 7th of October.
I'm afraid I'll be adding a postscript to your book with a court case, I suspect. We'll talk about that later. Where are institutions in this, Brendan? Here we have our Labor government attacking Israel, not defending it, slow to call out the hate preachers, and in fact implying that Muslims are the real victims here. Our government today, can you believe this, appointed an Islamophobia envoy, as if fear of Islam is probably just racist, Brendan, and a huge problem. What do you think is happening there?
I think that I don't accept the idea of Islamophobia. I simply don't. There is anti-Muslim bigotry. Of course there is, just as there is anti-Catholic bigotry, anti-Sikh bigotry. One should never be bigoted or hateful towards a group on the basis of their religious beliefs or their national heritage or anything else. Of course, I hope that goes without saying. But Islamophobia is something different. This is an invented term which is largely designed to prevent criticism of a religion, to punish blasphemy, essentially. It's a blasphemy law by the back door. And I really don't like the way in which Islamophobia is compared to anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism has got long roots. It's one of the world's oldest hatreds. It has caused the deaths of millions of people. And Islamophobia is much more about censoring those who hold views about Islam.
And there's more of it. The scale is incomparable. Brendan O'Neill, great book. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Love to catch up with you. Thank you.